Hello and welcome. My name's Heather. I'm a registered professional counselor and I'm going to be watching Selling Sunset Season 5, so let's dive in.
I don't know, it was super awkward. It was like, hi girls, and they just totally ghosted me.
Well, Chriselle said hi.
And then they proceed to make a mockery of the fact that I'm not invited to a party.
So I'm not sure if she was invited or not. Earlier, Mary was asking Amanda if Christine was going to show up to the bridal shower. Maybe they're just very unaware of the fact that she wasn't invited, and they were talking about the gifts and but they talked about other things as well, it seemed like, but I could understand how that would make Christine feel very uncomfortable. It's definitely not a good feeling, and again, it's just more proof of her being kind of the outcast, or the fact that she's being ostracized from the group or being alienated. So overall, just not a good feeling. I totally get that, and she's just trying to explain to Chelsea in her words and from her perspective what was happening. Maybe there's some details that she might be exaggerating on, which is that she said that Chriselle didn't even say hi to her, or she would just turn her head, but we see in the footage that she actually did. But again, maybe it's edited a certain way, or maybe she just misremembers the fact that, someone did acknowledge her presence. And she just wants to portray them in the most negative light towards Chelsea because she wants someone on her side. So there's different reasons as to what's going on. Also, just a quick reminder that everything I'm saying in these videos are a complete speculation. I'm not here to diagnose any of the participants. That is unethical. I'm not in a counseling session with them. I don't know them. The purpose of these videos is to use the events from the show to talk about psychology theories in general, also relationship dynamics, and how we can improve our communication skills.
Like, whatever she's basic.
And you and Chriselle not on speaking terms.
She just doesn't, I'm not even in the room. I say hi, Chriselle, and she turns her head the other way.
Well, that's not true.
She's a bitch.
I think it's really easy for people just to say like, oh, Christina's evil, or Christina's a narcissist. And this happens a lot in our everyday lives. We like to put labels on people. We want to find certain answers that could explain a certain situation or explain why a person did X, Y, Z. But the problem with that is that having a certain label, like she's evil, or she's a terrible person, or she's a narcissist, although can bring some level of comfort because our brains, again, want to know exactly what's going on, so that it wants to find the answers. The reality is that people are quite complex, but our brains don't like when things are complex, and that's why there are certain biases or heuristics that our brains take as shortcuts to try to explain the world and put all these generalizations out there, because it doesn't like the idea that something could be a little bit different, or there's many layers. It's fine if you want to think that Christina's evil or she's a narcissist, but chances are there's a lot more going on, and that's kind of why I'm doing these videos, is because I think it's important for us to be able to expand our minds and realize that things are really complicated, because human beings are complicated, and it's not as simple as saying, oh, they're evil, or oh, they're just a narcissist, because that's usually rarely the case.
And with Davina, I would find that she really didn't have my back.
She didn't have a backbone.
Yeah.
The Persians should know that you are so loyal to me that they don't even want to say anything negative about me to you, because you're going to have my back.
Right.
Or it's going to be uncomfortable.
And this interaction is showing us that Christine is really priming Chelsea into thinking how horrible the other girls are. And she was saying that they're ghosting her and all these terrible things. And she's saying so-and-so is a B word. And she's saying that Davina has no spine. She's spineless and she just wants to be liked. And she's not really there for her or has her back as a friend. And naturally what would happen is that whenever someone says this, we automatically want to feel like, oh, well, I'll do it. I'll protect you. If I was your friend, I would definitely defend you till the ends of the earth. It's a very natural human reaction and human behavior that we want to step up and be like, oh, but I can do better. Like, I'm your friend. I can definitely do that for you. And it's also really interesting because we've seen the same type of tactic when Christine would try to recruit Vanessa last season, and by saying that, oh, like nobody cares about me and everyone is so horrible to me in the office, and she was trying to essentially recruit Vanessa to be on her side, and Vanessa was trying to be really sweet, and she's trying to mediate the problem and trying to get the other girls in the office to talk to Christine and vice versa. And she was trying to essentially play the role as the peacekeeper throughout that season. And I guess for Christine, she feels that Vanessa isn't reliable, or she didn't do a good job, you know, being 100% on Christine's side, so she wants to recruit someone else to do it instead.
I don't want to be liked. I want to be respected.
Chelsea and I are definitely on the same level when it comes to loyalty.
And maybe Chelsea does have similar values when it comes to friendships and loyalty and ride or die, and that's totally fine. And that's great if they do get along in that sense and they share that value. And that's great that Christine was able to find a friend like that. That's okay. But it's also important to notice that not everyone is going to have that level of loyalty, and it doesn't mean that they're spineless. It doesn't mean that they're wrong or that they're out to get you or that they don't care about you. But I think for Christine, it's definitely come to a point where it's a complex, and I don't know her, but just speculating, for someone who might be in Christine's position or who have similar behaviors or reactions as Christine, it's possible that growing up, loyalty was extremely important, or there's some form of trauma around being betrayed or not having that sense of loyalty. And so now, anytime there's any trigger or if there's any indication that someone doesn't have her back 100%, she feels that they're going to be out to get her, or she feels that they're going to betray her in some level. And maybe that's why she's willing to push people away, or she's willing to kind of cut ties with them, or to make jabs at them or make digs at them, because she's trying to prevent herself from getting hurt. And in order to do that, she's going to do what she can to push people away or hurt them. And so it could definitely be a defense mechanism. So maybe she does all these things and says all these things because she wants to appear that she's superior, or she wants to make sure that she doesn't come across as weak. So she needs to kind of step it up one level and try to hurt other people before they can hurt her. Before I forget, make sure to give this video a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe for more analysis videos like this.
Heather was at my wedding. She was at my dress fitting.
Ooh. This one's really gorgeous.
This is so beautiful.
Oh, I forgot
want
about
one.
that.
You'll have one very soon. And for me to just be alienated, it sucks.
So it does suck when friendships change, and it seems like Christine does have this feeling of nostalgia towards her friendship with Heather, and she's wondering why Heather didn't invite her to all these wedding events when, you know, Christine invited Heather to hers. And I think that it's important to acknowledge that there's a level of hurt that Christine is experiencing, which I totally get. So if Christine is able to allow herself to think and reflect on, okay, what's changed? How did I contribute to this change? And, you know, what can I do to make things better? If she decides that she wants to mend or repair that friendship, then there needs to be some form of communication. There needs to be some effort on both parties to try to fix that friendship. But it's really tough because I don't know if Christine is able to get to that place where she's able to take ownership and responsibility for her role, because right now she's essentially blaming everyone else as to why things are horrible and why she's treated badly, and that it's their fault for not saying hi to her, and she is essentially the victim, or she's getting picked on. But she doesn't acknowledge all these other things that she has done, nor does she take responsibility for them, which is the main problem. And she's saying that, you know, she has her own side of the story, but no one's willing to listen to it. She hasn't essentially said anything, and I'm curious to know if this is something that is an ongoing pattern with all of her friendships. So maybe she was really close with them, and then something happens and she feels betrayed and she turns on them. So, you know, it would be interesting to know if she actually has one long-term consistent friend that she hasn't turned on, right? And what was that about? Because it seemed like it used to be Mary, and then now it's not anymore, and she's essentially lost everyone else in the office that she was once close with. So it seems like she's going through a little bit of a self-destruct mode when it comes to these friendships and these relationships. And again, it could be, you know, maybe she's high on the narcissism spectrum. It could be the fact that she's just emotionally very immature. It could be that she doesn't really know how to socialize with other people. It could be that her expectations or standards around being her friend is just unachievable and not really realistic. And so she pushes everyone aside if there's any inkling of something that she doesn't like. And I wonder if it's going to be the same with Chelsea or not. So it'd be interesting to see. Maybe Christine just really needs a friend like Chelsea. So it's possible that maybe over time, Chelsea is exactly the friend that Christine needs. And maybe Chelsea can help provide some insight and to help Christine see some of the errors in her ways in the past, and to help her get to the place where she is able to mend some of the relationships or friendships and to be able to move forward. So maybe that can also be a possibility. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe for more analysis videos like this. In the meantime, feel free to check out my other therapist reviews videos, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Until then, be kind and love yourself.